Hi, this is Psychic Medium Danielle Garcia with your energy forecast for the week. Today is September 7th, 2020, Labor Day here in the U.S. So happy Labor Day, everyone. Hopefully you have the day off and can enjoy yourself a little bit. Well, we survived another week of September, right? This month has a lot of different planetary stuff going on, a lot of different emotional energy. It seems to be the month of release. So releasing things cannot always be so easy, right? But if we struggle against it, if we fight against it, if we continue to just butt our head back and forth, it's going to be a lot harder. If we allow ourselves to go with the flow, things are going to be easier. The last 4 days, the Schumann resonance has just been freaking crazy, off the charts, doing things it hasn't done before. Many empaths have experienced sleep issues, headaches, and sudden onset fatigue. I don't know about you, but the last 4 days, I'm just going along and everything's hunky-dory, and then suddenly, I just feel like 50 to 60% of my energy just all of a sudden releases, and I am fatigued and exhausted. I've had a lot of other peers as well as clients and students report the same thing to me. So what can you do when things are going on in the universe that, affect us on a physical level? Well, make sure you're eating good foods. Doesn't necessarily mean you have to be all organic or vegan or all non-GMO unless that's your thing. But make sure that you're staying away from things that will obviously fatigue you and exhaust you, bring your energy down. So you want to stay away from sugars, caffeine, additives, preservatives. If you know that when you gravitate towards one certain type of food, that weakens your immune system or it weakens your energy, if it makes you feel really, really tired after you've had a meal, stay away from those things. Think of things that add to your energy, whether that's meat, whether that is veg, whether that is fruit, whatever your thing is, that, foods that make your body feel better, because energy is energy. Whether you're empathic, sensitive or not, your body's going to be affected by energy. We can't always control the outside influence of energy, but we can definitely control what we're putting inside our body. Hydrate, and make sure you're doing some kind of grounding practice. Grounding practice can be just getting out and moving your body, going for a walk, going for a run, movement. That's so incredibly important right now. As September is this month of release, it's specifically about releasing childhood wounding, insecurities, fears, doubts, phobias, false beliefs, as well as past life imprints. So when you're doing your work this month, make sure that you're looking into those things and addressing those. Whether it's simply hitting on those subjects and seeing where you land, whether it is doing some type of a clearing practice where you're doing it with yourself on your own, or through a video online that you really like, or with a practitioner, make sure you address these different things, because it's going to be coming up in your face over and over and over and over and over this month. It's something that you can't really run away from. And when you do try to run away from it, guess what? The universe is going to respond in like fashion and continue to throw larger, bigger, stronger red flags right into your path. We are headed for 7 planets in retrograde starting on September 9th. Deep breath. Knowledge is power, right? So knowing this, we can prep and get ready. It doesn't mean that just because all of these different forces are going on that we have to be in fear of it, right? We can be proactive. We can be pro-you, pro-spirit, pro-life, meaning your life, and just move forward in a positive fashion. The running theme along with the month of release for September is what serves your highest, greatest good. Think of taking a mental inventory of that. Are people adding to your experience, or are they taking away from your experience? What is your accountability and responsibility in the relationship? What is serving you and what is not serving you? What can you release from your life, whether that is a job, a relationship, a false belief, an insecurity, a fear, a prior wounding. Think about what you can release. This month is about purging. It's about clearing. It's about letting go. The divine feminine is also really, really activated throughout all 4 weeks of September. So how does divine feminine energy work in your life right now? Or does it? What do you equate the divine feminine with? Is it compassionate? Is it courage? Is it grace? Is it strength? Is it kindness? Is it unconditional love? Is it power? Is it the warrior? How can you embody the divine feminine, whether you're male or female? How can you embody the divine feminine and connect with more of that energy? Here's the trick, guys. If you can connect, my guides are like, did you just say it's a trick? So many different voices running through my head all at the same time. So here's the trick, guys. If you can connect with the divine feminine and bring those aspects out in yourself, guess what? This month of release is going to be so much easier on you. So much easier on you. So think of what divine feminine means to you. That could mean being gentle with yourself. That could mean Mother Mary. That could mean Isis. That could mean your great grandma. Whatever that means to you, however you define that, bring those energies forward, activate them within you so that you can feel the grace, compassion, and kindness within. So as we're going through this month of release, a lot of people are going to be triggered. What do you do when you're triggered? Well, I like to react to triggers one of two ways. Either I freak the hell out, usually my first choice, or I take a step back and I try to work my way out of it to release that trigger, or at least release that triggered reaction. And I do it in the same way that I would back myself out of a panic attack. So when we're feeling all the feels, when we're getting triggered, our emotional field in our aura is all lit up. So we want to go in body. We don't want to be out here getting triggered and all willy-nilly. We want to go in body. So you want to concentrate on your 5 senses as opposed to your 6th sense, which is operating out here in your auric field. So you want to concentrate on where you're at. Okay, so the way that I would do that is I would bring in my 5 senses. I'm tasting the water that I just took a long sip of. It was very, very cold. I'm smelling the candle burning in my office. I'm hearing the roar of the air conditioner going on. I'm touching the wooden grain of my desk. It's sight, smell, touch, taste, hearing, all of those different things you want to bring back in so that you can ground. And a mantra that I really like to use as well is, I am in the now. I am in the now. I am only affected by the now. I am in the now. I am only affected by the now. That can be incredibly powerful when you experience different triggers. This particular week of September is a great week to work on shadow. Some people get really freaked out about shadow. It's not always so dark and ugly as you might think. These are different things about looking for your own accountability, looking for things that are not so easy to look at. My guides like to give me a little nudge and say, dive deep into the darkness, honey, because until you purge and release that, you can't bring in any more light. So when we look at things that are involved in the shadow, how we react, let's take anger, for instance. So if I'm looking at anger as a part of my shadow, I want to take a look at how I respond to people through anger. How do I respond to myself with anger? How does my body respond with anger? How is my body affected by anger? And I want to look at all of those different things. And I want to see, okay, how's that working out? Is this serving a purpose? Is there something more that I need to learn from this? How does it feel? Does it feel good for me to react that way? Does it make my body feel good to react that way? I want to take accountability for what I've done. And I want to seek forgiveness of self as well as asking others for forgiveness possibly on how I have reacted and acted out of anger. Once again, using anger as an example. Once you do this and you've worked with different emotions that are involved and ingrained in shadow, then you want to, after you've done the accountability and the forgiveness work, then you really want to look for what's the lesson in this for me. What have I learned from it? Sometimes you just learn to react differently. Sometimes you learn to react the complete opposite of how you've reacted before. And then also you want to learn, okay, what's the gift in this for me? There's always a gift in everything, no matter how big, bad, dark, and ugly it is. There's always a gift in every different experience, in every different occurrence. After you find what that gift is for you, that pearl of wisdom, whatever that might be, then cut cords and release. Cut, release, let go, move forward, move on. So, lots going on. Again, it doesn't have to be super scary. All of this clearing and release is helping us to be bigger, better, brighter, right? I'm going to pull some cards. Today I am working with the Psychic Tarot deck by John Holland, one of my favorite decks. And let's see what comes forward so far as what the cards have to say for the energies this week. The first card, emotional loss. Let's see if I can show this without all the glaring being on it. So when I look at this card and I look at this man, there's a Fibonacci spiral behind him. So to me, that is movement. That is connection to universe. That is healing within itself. He has both of his hands over his heart. So emotional loss. There's a big light behind him as well. To me, this represents that things don't always work out the way that we thought they would. Things are not always as easy as we thought they were. So part of the purging, part of the shadow work for this week that they are concentrating on is also grieving and releasing what you thought things would be. So grief is an emotion that happens not only with the death of a loved one, but grief can be grieving a relationship that didn't work out the way that you wanted it to, a job that didn't work out the way that you wanted it to, a dream that didn't work out the way that you wanted it to. And when you allow yourself to grieve that, to feel that emotion, it can help you to clear and release and move forward. Remember, I'm talking about grieving other things, not loved ones. Because when it comes to losing someone, I don't think that that's a grief that you ever heal. It's not something you can just cut cords with and move on and be, all rainbows and unicorns, so to speak. All right, next card coming forward. Accelerated motion. Well, that's a really nice explanation for September, right? So she's looking up at the universe, at this star in the universe. This is about rebirth. This is about reconnection. This is about remembrance. So accelerated motion, yeah, everything's moving pretty doggone fast this month. And that's why it's important for us to work on our stuff, our junk, our shadow, so we can move on to bigger, better, brighter things. What purpose does it serve you to be small? It doesn't, right? We want to be big, bright lights so that we inspire other people, because what we feel affects how other people feel. And if we're coming about things from a suppressed, withdrawn stance of, we're not worthy and we're so small and insignificant and we don't matter, that's not helping you, and that's not helping the collective by any means. All right, last card. Suffering in silence. Okay, so check her out. Fork in the road, right? She's looking right in between. So to me, this is feeling those emotions. And if you don't purge those different things that you've been feeling, like what they talked about at the beginning, the childhood wounding, the fear, the insecurities, the phobias, the past life imprints, the false beliefs. If you don't allow that emotion to come up and out of the body, you are going to suffer. And you are going to manifest illness, dis-ease, imbalance, all sorts of different things. So now is not the time to suffer in silence. Now is the time to reach out. Now is the time to work through. And I thought that was going to be the last card, but they're telling me to draw one more card as a conclusion card. So who am I to argue? Let's see what comes forward. Solar plexus chakra. So solar plexus, think of your power center, how you identify yourself, how you look at yourself as a strong being. This is where bravery and courage come from. This is where your empowered stance comes from. How are you powerful in regards to community, in regards to family, in regards to the world and universe around you? Remember, we're in this all together, right? We're going to make it. Absolutely. You know, it's not so much as even a question of that to me. We're definitely not alone. We have each other, as well as we have this beautiful entourage, if you will, of light around us in the form of angels and guides and loved ones and light beings, etc., etc., etc. Lions and tigers and bears, oh my. So just remember, even though September might be an emotional month, this is a month of clearing so that you can bring more light into your mind, your body, your heart, your soul, your spirit. Have a blessed week, everybody.